Hello guys, so this is yet another episode of ThinkShack.
Bumbleclap.
Exploring memes to their extremes. What the fuck was a bumble? This was like a fucking crossover. You ever be watching like a freaking romantic comedy and then right in the middle they bring in like a horror genre vibe and you're like, no, I wasn't watching for this genre.
I wanted to come in with a bang. Welcome to this week's episode of
I'm
ThinkShack.
Ramsey.
I am Jean.
And yeah, that's Jean, or Jean, if you're French. Which you're not, but we
were debating on how to start this podcast, but we were listening to Nameless, Mega Rider, and he gave this very basic and stupid description of like, muka asubuhi, I wake up in the morning.
Lyrics in the past were so freaking basic. If you listen to our music from the past, and I have nothing against like Issa. Issa was excellent, but like his era of music, there were a lot of basic lyrics in songs.
We're talking about how it's kind of like, everybody had that creative, quote-unquote creative friend in high school who was like, I'm a poet. And there's this guy accent.
Mimi nim noma, wala sina homa. You remember those lyrics? That was what was hitting back then. I'm so
fly, my nose is dry.
That's the vibe we used to get.
So Nameless trended with that song, Mega Rider.
Right.
And it's like, how...
I don't know why Mega Rider reminds me of condoms.
It sounds like
Rough Rider.
It sounds like the condoms used for a plus size girl.
Mega Rider. You want to ride a mega girl? Or if you have a mega dick. 12-inch dick, try Mega Rider condoms. The sleeve reaches the base.
Oh my god.
It
high fives her cervix.
You know what I find funny is that whenever a nigga with a long dick wears a condom, it looks like a crop top.
It's like a tumbo cut. That's what we call them in Kenya. A tumbo cut.
Anyway, but
wait,
like
apparently condoms actually get lost in girls sometimes. Like, there's people who
sometimes
just like, people like to sag their condoms. So
it's actually interesting because the way condoms work is, of course, you've got the rubber sleeve, but inside there's some kind of lubricant layer. And this lubricant layer gets depleted via friction. So as you're having sex, it gets depleted. And it's part of the reason why the condom is sticking in your dick. So once it gets depleted after a while, the condom can easily come off the dick. Have you ever had sex with condoms and noticed after a while that the inside of the condom starts to get so ashy, it turns white?
Well, it depends on the kind of woman you're with. Sometimes it might turn red.
Sometimes it might. Why are you having sex on her periods?
What is your reaction? Sometimes it might turn purple. Like you're fucking a Duma.
What's a Duma?
Duma.
Oh yeah, because they're purple on the inside.
Yeah. That girl's been having, instead of having pineapple, she's been having Duma.
But back then we also had really good music, right?
Oh, it's actually pronounced Doma, isn't it?
Ndoma, yeah. It's, we had this conversation on the other episode about how like Kenyans appropriate letters when they're doing pronunciation versus spelling things.
A KY
like
chalo.
Yeah, it's KYALLO. But like I was saying, like music back then was such that one thing about Kenya is that we usually every once in a while we get a music group, a musician or a band that is way ahead of its time but doesn't quite hit. And just a band was a huge thing back then. Like they made a lot of great music and they even ended up on an episode of Sense8.
They were so iconic. Like honestly, but were they really iconic? But I remember they even had songs on channel.
Mac Mende was an iconic music video, remember?
It was actually called Hahe.
Tuko Wax Mzeya. Evacuate the area.
The album is dropping soon, by the way, if you want us to drop that.
The what?
The parody album of us like making parodies of songs.
We should really consider that.
Probably.
Yeah.
But
we're probably going to sound terrible, but that's,
people might pay
that's in the spirit of a parody.
We might get fans just tell us.
This is going to be our breakout story. This is how we get out of poverty. Just be so annoying people pay you to not exist publicly.
Oh my goodness, that's something interesting. What would you even call yourself? Public nuisance.
Public nuisance.
Public annoyance.
I think actually people are already employing this strategy on a different level. Be so annoying, people can't help but share your content, and then you get like the Nduru man or like the guy who goes around in town taking weird selfies with like people, and he just like fucking springs up on them. I don't know. We have. This is also like not necessarily a public nuisance, but doing like weird public surprises, and it's cool. David Moya doing the dances, surprising people. That's kind of cool. So it's like just do something where like you're totally intruding into people's lives.
So that's a whole
for views.
That's a whole meme. And I remember Mac Mende, like back to what we were talking about. Mac Mende was kind of like one of the first memes in Kenya where people were like, hey, Mac Mende. And then
it used to be a whole thing. I'm even surprised the meme died down. Like I always thought like Mac Mende, you know, like the way we have like gangster points now. Mac Mende was gangster points before gangster points.
Literally. Like,
I don't know why it died down.
I don't know why it died down because that was like the origin of memes. Because it's like the Kenyan version of Chuck Norris jokes. I don't know if you know Chuck Norris jokes.
Yeah, exactly. I know Chuck Norris jokes. Like Chuck Norris doesn't sleep with a gun under his pillow. He sleeps with a pillow under his gun. You know.
There's one I saw that said Chuck Norris's daughter lost his virginity. He got it back.
That was what Mac Mende was, because people would make Chuck Norris jokes but replace Mac Mende, you know, like have it sit in for Chuck Norris.
There's something about his balls, I don't remember, but anyway.
So like just the band was fantastic, and I'm just surprised they never quite caught on. We had like the best example you can think right now of an iconic band that had music that was out of the box and forward thinking in its time and did catch on, and now they've become so iconic is Sauti Sol in Kenya. Exactly. But we had so many little outfits producing music on the level of Sauti Sol. Uliza Kiatu. Yeah. There's still a thing right now. But like even Hot the Band, exactly. We have Just a Band, which was, I mean, it was like a whole electronic music kind of vibe, but it was still out of the box.
We're saying Just a Band.
The others never seem to quite catch on.
Just a Band actually.
Remember Elani?
Yeah. Elani had that one hot girl. I don't remember the other one. But not
because she wasn't hot.
Not because she wasn't, but the other one was so hot. It's like
but I love the plausible deniability of all this, because you're like, it had that one hot girl. We'll never know which one.
Never know which one it was, but it was the brown one. So yeah, there was the.
They were both brown. Technically, brown is a color. It can have different hues. Dark brown, light brown.
Shit brown.
Shit.
Shit brown.
Anyway. Imagine reading a novel and the guy has this weird description like, she was beautiful. Her complexion could best be described as shit brown. And you've got like a literature lecturer going like, yes, the author is trying to express how, you know, the girl's aroma was as repulsing. Oh my God. You know,
like, this is a form of metaphor.
This is a form of metaphor. But anyway, this is something we should have started with. Anyway, that's the music industry. I don't know, guys.
But if you know what I was saying though, like that time, Just a Band it could have paved the way for Kenyan sounding music. Nowadays, we don't have an internationally recognized. Well,
that's an interesting segue, because we were talking about how Nigerian music and amapiano has caught on.
Exactly. Because
they managed to capture their culture so well in their music.
And they have that signature that you can recognize.
Yeah, but we don't have so many like Kenyan songs.
It's so scattered.
So it's like Sauti Sol has a deeply Kenyan vibe. It makes you feel patriotic. Exactly. It's like love songs in a Kenyan style, like gangster songs in a Kenyan style, songs about love in a Kenyan style.
One example that I thought of, because I listened to this, you don't hear it the first time, but when you listen more to it, like this song, Inauma. Basically, he talks about things that you never experienced in Nairobi, like Kamisi in a biker, like which girl? Well, I don't want to disrespect any of our audience, but which girl wears kamisi nowadays?
Yeah, exactly.
Kamisi, what the fuck? But people in Mashinani are listening to that, so they're like, they can relate with that. But you, even in Nairobi, in your modern times, where your girl's wearing a thong or lace or whatever.
Yeah, and there's that song. There's that song. I forget the title, but it's like Isabella by Sauti Sol, right? Yeah, I think that was the title. You know, it's like such a fucking Kenyan love song. It's interesting considering the video was shot in the US.
Wow.
But it feels so distinctly Kenyan. Even the way he talks about like how her parents don't like him, or how, I don't know, he was about to get chased by the dogs from the compound or something. I don't remember the details.
So Sauti Sol have that Kenyan sound, but not many other people have like.
I think Nyashinsky also managed to take Kenyan lyrics. Especially, I think, Kenyan lyrics and a bit of Kenyan tunes. I don't know who produces the beats for Nyashinsky, but they're so beautiful because they explore different aspects like EDM, house, and whatnot. But they still have a distinctly Kenyan vibe. You know, like if you listen to Nyashinsky's music, like the beats, they either have a reggae vibe or they have an EDM vibe, or like a rap vibe, but they also have a Kenyan rap or Kenyan reggae. Although, you get what I mean?
I always say this to people who say Nyashinsky, because I rate his music highly. But then at the same time, does he really hit internationally? Like Sauti Sol, my sister has worked in different parts of Africa, and of course we have friends from different parts of Africa.
Right, exactly.
So they'll tell you, I know Sauti Sol.
And the West as well. Like, for example, I have a friend in the US who tells me, like, I told him, do you listen to amapiano? And guess what the first word that came out of his mouth was? Maporisa?
Oh, yeah.
Because like that's what people associate with amapiano out there.
People will know Sauti Sol as well, but then who else?
Exactly.
I think it's just because we don't have that.
When someone says, "Do you listen to Tanzanian music?" a foreigner might quickly jump to say Diamond.
Yeah.
You know, but
Ali Kiba.
Yeah, exactly.
What is Kiba anyway? Why did he Kiba? Why did you Kiba that girl?
Akiba.
Ulimkiba kwa nini?
Ali Kiba, yani alieka Akiba.
Oh. Aliweka Kiba.
Okay, well, Ali is a name in its own right, but like if
it's
you were like
tense.
to make it a phrase.
Ule dem nilimkiba.
Nilikiba huyo dem mwanzo yako amini.
But that sounds violent. It sounds like
for our international audience, this is the part where you're totally floating because you're like, what
this
the hell are these guys talking
African
about?
curses, African rituals. We're just trying to make sure we get the algorithms right. Like,
we're literally reciting a spell.
Or maybe
right now.
we're requesting for funding from donors. That's what Africans do. Yeah.
We're really good at asking for money.
Maybe that's what Tukiba means. Tunakiba.
Alikiba.
It's like that bread.
He really got a lot of sponsorships though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Alikiba sponsorship.
I find that sound he does at the beginning of his song so annoying. Yeah. Sounds like sounds like a cat trying to die. Like attempting to die. Like yo.
My worst is Harmonize because every time Harmonize starts a line, he coughs like he has lung cancer. And then he starts singing, and I'm like, bruv, you need to see a doctor. You should not be singing right now.
Like
you should be seeing a doctor. You need
help.
a freaking checkup
Get some help.
for your lung
Go
cancer.
harmonize your health.
Harmonize's body is not in harmony.
His face is like
not
a Ninja Turtle.
Oh shit! Harmonize's body is not in harmony with his face. Such a joke.
Oh shit!
He really.
I know we're blowing his
He
speaking.
really needs to harmonize those two.
His parents didn't harmonize their genetics. They made a fucking Ninja Turtle.
This is gonna make our viewers even want to see us more because they're like, if these guys are so freaking, are such freaking bullies, they better be looking good. Well, I'm gonna disappoint you. I'm ugly right off the bat. When we found the show,
that's what handsome people say. That's what handsome people say. It's like, I'm a handsome, Kijana handsome number one.
But like, anyway, the conversation here, and I remember I put it out before, was that with Kenyan music, we have like a few, few and far removed artists who are like putting us on the map, but for the most part what we have are like passing fads. So we have Genge, Kapuka, and like other like a lot of other different genres that just come and go. We don't have something that's persistent.
And here's an argument. Like, I feel like, there's a way you said, like, you were describing Sauti Soul music and just a band as well. They had these international music as well.
Yeah.
They have these international elements, but then they have this 60% leaning towards like that Kenyan sound.
Exactly.
Whereas these other ones have like, they lean towards the international sound way too much. Like, let's say.
We copy hip hop vibes, we copy trap, we copy drip or whatever, like, trill or whatever the hell.
What's this? Angie. It sounds like dancehall.
Dancehall. It's pretty dancehall.
Like, you don't feel like this is Kenyan. This is you feel like this is a Kenyan.
Though I will commend Buttress Munene because like he has really explored different routes. I know what Wakadinali do is along the lines of trail and all of that, but like it still has such a weird street vibe. Like it's like it makes you feel gangster in a Kenyan way. So you gotta give it credit for that. And Buttress Munene has dabbled in that shit a bit here and there. Oh, and while we're on that, where's this guy who's dating John something? What's his name? No.
Oh, Baha.
No, not Baha. The guy who sang what is it? Karuga? Oh, shit.
That's a bad sign as a celebrity if people don't remember your name. Like, I love that song by what's his name again?
What's his name? Kagwe
Mugai?
No, it's Kagwe Mugai is great, but it's not him. It's the other guy with dreadlocks. Shorty, he has this weird comical sound.
Ben Soul?
No. Joan, the makeup artist.
Chris Kaiga.
Chris Kaiga, yes. Oh shit, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Chris Kaiga's music is pretty unique.
It's pretty unique.
Have you ever noticed that?
But I feel like this thing is too segmented. But while we're on the topic of artists exploring like different avenues, do you know Benzema? Who's talking about like tutacheza after Machi tutachezi. What is this? After Machi tutacheza Candy Crush. He used to make EDM like really deep. He was in a group called Electric.
He actually started in a whole different genre than what he's doing right now.
He even ended up on Lions Den, which was the Kenyan version of Shark Tank. Literally that.
And how much? What was his business idea? How much funding
it was just
did
about
he
like doing concerts. Doing like performances. He was trying to sell his music label. They had some Indian guy and they were dressed like these Sarakasi dancers.
Why is it that you always have to get some guy with a lighter complexion, like a white guy or an Indian guy as a co-founder to get founded? That's a whole conversation we need to have about the startup scene in Kenya. What?
First of all, they have to be seen. Dark skin, maybe like.
Oh shit!
Two guys in the shadow walking.
Two guys walk into a bar. It sounds like the start of a bad joke.
Two guys in their shadow walking.
Yeah.
And the shadow is talking to us about an investment. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen witchcraft like that.
It's the shadow that's pitching.
Only in Africa.
The guys
in Africa. They're having a story at the bar like, let me tell you some wild shit that happened in Africa.
Oh my god, that is some dark shit.
Oh shit.
Literally
some dark shit. Oh.
That's literally dark shit. Anyway.
We are not racist. We are black, by the way. Well, we should have left that up to the audience to try and decide.
We might be white. Who fucking cares?
We're going viral for like, listen to this racist playlist. Yes, we're racist. We're the darkest niggas in the world.
It's so funny that the definition for racism breaks down when you're racist to your own race. Like nobody ever calls a black person racist when he says shit about black people.
You can say whatever the fuck you want, honestly.
Exactly.
I mean, most comedians jokes, like black comedians jokes about black
Dave
people.
Chappelle especially.
They talk about like those nigga lips. Things like that. Like
nigga ass.
Like that nigga ass.
Yeah. Anyway, so like we have like a lot of these weird instances that are few and far removed. But for the most part, like a lot of Kenyan music, and this like ties into the whole debate about whether we should be playing 80% Kenyan content. A lot of it is passing fads. Exactly. So for example, like if you are a musician in a certain genre that's a passing fad, you're not guaranteed that you're gonna be a hit when the fad passes. I was gonna say pad passes.
The pad passes. When like some people are passing menstrual pads all around the house. Like,
exactly, but like, what are these guys that used to do Gengetone? That got so famous.
The guy who did no, it wasn't
Ethic. It was Ethic.
There was Ethic, and then there was another one. What the guys who sang Why
Boondocks?
No. What the fuck were they called? What's the name?
Ochunglo family or something.
That was different. What was it? Sailors
Gang. Exactly.
Name, though,
I actually once went to a music video recording. I don't know if it was Boondocks or Sailors Gang. It's like I was living in Kahao in Dani at the time, and you know, like KU is there. There are a lot of young and vulnerable and gullible women, you know, who can, you know, all you have to do is promise them alcohol and they're gonna go to this part that turns out to be a music video recording.
Try and pray for character development.
And it just so happens that the time when I was walking around, me and my friend were just like roaming around. I don't remember what the fuck we were looking for, Mutura or something.
Bitches.
Or yeah, that. And then like we meet a friend while we're eating Mutura, and then the guy is like, yo, najua mali kuna music video na shoot your side.
What the fuck?
That means like the guy was telling us he knows somewhere where a music video is being shot in like an apartment. And he was like, you want to go get gay crash?
Like,
we were like, yeah.
For a music
fuck video. Yeah, I want to gay crash. I want to be the annoying human being in this situation.
Just
show me where.
Throwing up signs with your fingers, you don't know what the fuck they mean.
Like, yeah, I want to do it.
Look at me.
This will be perfect for video. We've got like our hands raised up right now.
You probably end up on a music video if it's a shit artist like Bendo Prusia. That bullshit nigga.
Bendo Prusia?
Like,
the motherfucker? Because he literally fucks people's mothers.
He looks like it. Bend your old mom.
I'll bend your mom from Kenya to Prussia. Call me Bendo Prussia.
Bend your mom's pussy. Yeah.
Baby, your mom's pussy. Anyway, so like this guy takes us to like the room, and it's just a room. It's like a bunch of girls dancing to Gengeto, and they're like in booty shorts and like, shit.
Fuck yeah!
And the house was so fucking full. It was like, I don't know if you've ever been to like a Kenyan house party. There's some things there. You know, like you know when you go to a Kenyan bank, there are elements that you can't miss. Yeah. Like one teller is missing, or there's the guy that keeps walking in and out. You've seen this meme, right?
Of course.
So like in a Kenyan house party, one of the things you can't miss is that they're gonna be like a lot more boys than girls for starters. Second, if it's in a house, it's gonna be full, and at some point or other, the host and his friends or her friends are gonna figure out a way to kick out the uninvited guests.
People,
they're gonna say like everyone needs to chuck 100 bob for the liquor, or suddenly they're gonna be like stima zimepotea, twende club. Like they're gonna come up with some weird random excuse.
And then they move the actual people who paid, and then they get stay out.
So like me and my friend got into the house. It's like me, my friend, and the guy who convinced us to go to the dance party.
Wait,
and somehow we were so fucking confident. We walked. I don't remember what the song is. I just knew. I mean, it's probably like one of those videos on YouTube that never hit. Yeah. You know, like ours. But like.
Oh shit! I was hitting them. By the way, shout out to our subscribers.
Just starting to hit.
Thank you so much for listening to us. We love the fact that you enjoy our nonsense.
Yeah.
But, we have great content and we get you thinking about things you normally think about. And that's how you build your mind and build your sense of humor. You become more cultured listening to ThinkShack.
We're the guys who goof around but are occasionally deep.
Yeah.
Which I was telling Jean, it's better to be the guy who goofs around and is occasionally deep than it is to be the guy who's deep and occasionally goofs around. I don't know. What's your opinion? You can put it in the comments section. So
anyway, shout out to you guys. Thanks for subscribing and stay tuned.
The punchline here is that me and my friend, we got so confident. We walked into the kitchen. We looked through the sufurias. We found some food. We served ourselves and ate all of the food and finished. And then we left the place.
You're fucking lying, bro.
I swear. It's a freaking party. No one's checking who's in the kitchen or whether the host knows them.
Crazy story, man. Like,
I swear. We came from out of nowhere. Freaking strangers. We don't even know these people. We went, served ourselves food in the kitchen. We ate, and then we heard like people like saying random shit in the living room, like "Kuna food, ama ni nasikia njaa," and then we were like the ones shouting from the kitchen, "Food imeisha." Yeah. So like we served ourselves, ate, and then when we started to get the vibe that they wanted to chase away like strangers, we just left. And then we went on our walk. Like it was, I remember those kahawa and Danny days, they were freaking fantastic.
That's so trippy. That's so trippy. Like literally.
I know.
Wake up in the morning, you don't know what the fuck is going to happen to you. Like literally.
It's like, have you ever gay crashed a wedding? I've gay crashed a few weddings. I've gay crashed Somali weddings. I gay crashed weddings for the experience.
When I was I found out that that's actually part of the culture. Like any wedding, you can go to. Some friends just walk up to you and be like, "Hey, there's a wedding happening. You wanna go there?" Literally, you could have planned your wedding for 50 people, but then 500 people show up, none of which you've invited.
Exactly,
it's part of the culture.
Exactly. When I was young, and this is such a personal story. I don't know how to tell it, but you know,
it's about to get deep.
Y'all can judge me all you want. But growing up, like me and my mom were really poor.
Yeah.
So like sometimes my mom would, cause she's like, it's a weekend and we obviously don't have any entertainment money. We're not gonna like, I don't know, go to the junction and do. Why would I go to the strip club with my mom?
You said entertainment at the strip club.
My mom took me to the strip club for my 18th birthday. It's like one of those weird, like,
American stories.
Coming of age stories, you know, like my dad took me to the club for my 18th birthday. Well, what my mom did for my like 11th birthday, I don't know. Like we gay crashed a wedding nearby. It was like an Indian wedding. And then you just go there and you like sit randomly. Like Indian weddings are freaking incredible. These things go on for days. They're not one day affairs. Yeah, you can have a wedding going on for 10 days. I don't know if people know about the Sarali Sports Club. It's in Ngara, Park Roads. But a lot of weddings happen at the Sarali Sports Club.
Indian, right?
Indian, Arab, Somali, you name it. I've gay crashed all of them. And
what the fuck? You have a resume?
Yeah, they're freaking beautiful. If you're gonna gay crash weddings from different cultures. Don't just go gay crash Kikuyu weddings every single day. You're gonna dance Mugithi until your feet fucking waste away.
You rather go watch Kum Kum Bagia.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Indian shows with the
gay crash Nigerian weddings, like gay crash different culture weddings. It actually helps you expand your mind because you get to learn about different cultures.
That's so cool though.
So like with gay crash and Indian wedding, and like these guys go ham on the interior design and the lighting and the tents and stuff, and then they've got people sitting in the tables and rows, and they bring the freaking food, and you know, like Indian food is really good if you're like a fan of it, and they bring in like those platters with like large steel bowls, you know, on top, and they serve it. And you can have biryani, you can have mutton, you can have we would have
for
a
free
feast. I was having the freaking 5-star experience, even though my mom had no money. So like this was like a thing we used to do, because every weekend at the Sarali Sports Club, there used to be a wedding, and it was always some weird culture. Swahili weddings are interesting because Swahilis go ham on makeup. Swahili women like get
do they have baikoko at weddings? That shit is sexy as fuck.
Well, none of the weddings I attended, but I know it's a huge practice in Mombasa in Tanzania.
Do they get taught how to shake their asses? Like, 'cause I feel like that's the original
they do. Actually, baikoko is such a huge thing. You know, like viewers, please go Google what baikoko is. I'm not gonna explain that. But like the whole idea is that, and I'm just about to explain, even though I said I'm not gonna explain it. You've got like these events where like it's music, and you've got like someone like doing like almost like a nursery rhyme repetition choral, kata kyuno kata,
and the girls are going crazy.
And you got like drummers doing shit, and women are twerking the hell out, and they're always wearing deras, right?
Fucking Christ, man, like those deras. Oh.
Sometimes it goes deep. If you actually like go search for Baikoko on like channels that are uncensored, you'll see that some of them twerk so hard their deras creep up, and you can see their underwear.
Where they actually like pour water on them and stuff.
Exactly, because like water has this weird sexual effect, whereas it drenches the clothes, sticks to your skin, then, so your figure is more accentuated.
I think it's also very psychological. So like, in what's the word? Suggestive.
I got her wet.
It's like there's that, and then also it's like this video where girls pour milk on themselves, like Club COVID. You remember the girls were twerking, pouring milk on themselves?
I am really building up on the theory I told you about in one of our previous episodes about the weird relationship between food and sex, because like on Club COVID, girls would pour milk on themselves, and somehow this made them sexier. And I'm like, why the fuck am I feeling like this about milk? I drink this shit. I don't look at milk and feel like jerking off, but I see milk on a girl's boobs.
Like, and fucking Christ, I want that shit.
So like what I was trying to say is that if you're gate crashing a house party, it's kind of the same experience. Go gate crash music video recordings. Go gate crash people's birthday parties.
You get twerked on at the gate crash music videos?
Unfortunately not, because there were too many men. If you ever go to a party, I'll just give you a quick life tip. If you ever go to a party and there are more men than women, best believe the women's perceived market value is going to be high. So they're going to have like a lot more kiburi, ego.
I once had to compete. Like, there's like, what is this called? There's the graveyard shift at the club. And then you find there's like one hot girl who's too drunk for her own good, and then a bunch of like
girls surrounding her, like freaking.
Guys. Oh, because you be dancing with a girl, right? And then her friends are like, take good care of her. You're like, fuck yes, they've left her to me, so literally I can do whatever the fuck I want with this girl.
Exactly. I can take her home. I can use her.
I can take her to the party.
Oh my god, guys give such rapey vibes. No, but what I was trying to say is that there's a weird rapey vibe that guys give. I'm a guy, and I know we have this weird relationship where we just want to fucking manipulate and take advantage of a woman. You're like, and then you stop and you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm such a psychopath.
For religious people, it's the evidence.
It's so funny because in every episode we have to make a joke.
It's be the rape shack.
Shack.
Sounds like a place.
Oh my god, we're gonna get demonetized with this. We're gonna get delisted on YouTube.
Fucking Christ.
Welcome to the guys. It's me, Ramsey.
Spread your
anyway, we do not condone that in any shape or form, It's just that it's funny sometimes to have dark humor. We're huge dark humor fans.
Yeah, we had the suicide rope jokes.
Exactly.
We should trademark those jokes. But anyways, where were we going?
So no. You were saying how like when you have a club, you have one hot girl and like a bunch of guys surrounding her.
The graveyard shift, like man, you compete and then you're dancing with her. You're like, I'm going home with this girl for sure. And then a bunch of other guys come and then they offer her jabba. They offer her like all sorts of drinks. Like, what is this? Is this like an auction or something like that?
And the highest bidder wins.
Literally, there's a time I was at a club. Like I was like, this girl is mine. I saw her first. I bought her drinks. She knows my name. We've been talking all that bullshit. And then I'm like, this one is mine. And then the girl is so drunk, but she's one of those like high capacity. I feel like the actresses, they're like I'm so drunk. I can't.
But you can't take advantage of me. I actually respect such women. I respect any woman who, no matter how drunk she gets, her instinct kicks in. And at the risk of revealing too much about our personal lives, we had this situation recently, right? Where like we were drunk and we brought my girlfriend home and she didn't recognize any of us. She was so drunk, but she was like, I want Ramsey. Where's Ramsey? Because she didn't know who the fuck we were. But it kind of warms your heart because you're like, even if I wasn't here, you guys wouldn't get your first instinct would be to like ask for where I am and give resistance.
But then here's the question, like how do you build up that endurance? Because you have to be in so many different situations for you to be like, oh no, I knew I fucked up that time. I'm not going to do it again.
I don't think it's particularly difficult in Kenya because niggas always trying to fuck. I've heard stories from women friends, women women relatives, women colleagues telling me about situations where they were in a party, a house party, and then it comes to time to sleep and they're going to the bedroom and some niggas gonna come and try and grope them. Niggas are looking for every opportunity to try and sneak in and fuck you.
Why
or you go to like a guy's place.
Frustrated in Kenya. Willy Paul, I'm talking to you.
Men are so fucking. We are sexually frustrated in Kenya as
We're
fuck.
talking to you, Willy Paul. We know you are in the girls' DMs talking like, what?
So utaki nikuje kwako. Shida ni
I will
nini?
never text you again. Like,
You don't want me to come to your house?
Like, how do you feel as a celebrity? Like, honestly, you know your shit is gonna be everywhere. You're texting some random woman who lives in Jamhuri in a like bedsitter or something like that. No disrespect to Jamhuri. I lived in Jamhuri, so I love Jamhuri.
And I've lived in a bedsitter.
Yeah.
I feel like I should make that point.
I mean, shit. Yeah. Listen, we're not trying to diss anyone, but all I'm saying is, like, as a celebrity,
like she's an average woman, and you supposedly are a higher status member of society. Really so Paul. Why are you stooping to such depths? Really that is the question. But yeah, so like what I was trying to say is, we've got this vibe in house parties where, you know, like guys are trying to sneak some sex in. And I've heard a lot of stories, by the way, and roping into rape, but from a serious angle, I've heard a lot of stories of women saying that they got taken advantage of at a house party, and it's always like some guy is just like taking advantage of her.
I heard some people wake up with a dick in their mouth, like, what the fuck, man? That's a horror movie. Like, why? Why in the mouth? Put it in the eye at least, like, or the ear or something, like, at least.
Why would you put a dick in the ear though? Like, that is a sick fetish. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I'm sure there's people in the comments.
I want you to hear me come.
Do you hear me coming?
We should put this on a t-shirt. An ear logo, and I want you to hear me come. As a freaking caption.
So it's like an ear with someone, like, you know, James Bond, the way they have that like camera lens.
Yeah, exactly.
Ear, and then the guy is jerking off like in a silhouette of him jerking off.
That's a terrible situation to be.
What are
that
we
is so serious. Oh yeah, we were supposed to start the podcast with this, but like we're doing this thing where we review random liquors at the beginning of the episode. Obviously, this is not the beginning, but you get the point.
Shout out to Oaks and Corks. They usually are plugs for this.
Yeah, we've had Shustov, which we talked about in episode 6.
Ukraine.
We've had Beef Eater 24, which was a terrible disappointment.
From London.
And now we're having Harrington from Scotland.
It's
only 2,000 shillings, and it has a woody aroma to it.
Very beautiful packaging as well. But talk about Beef Eater. Beef Eater, what the fuck was that? Like, we love the pink gin.
Beef Beater would be more
appropriate.
Meat Beater. Meat Beater.
Like, that shit felt like, you know, Gilby's burns your throat, but this one is like...
This one is just like, it insults you. Like, bruh, look, you got fucking short change.
Like, oh, 2,000.
I'm overpriced.
Fuck you and your mom. Literally, that's what it does to your throat. Like...
I don't taste good. Surprise!
Suck my ass, bitch. How does it taste? Like, literally, it's pissing in your mouth.
Sounds like it would remind you about the average cost of a blowjob at Koinange. You paid 2,000 for me. Guess how many blowjobs that is in Koinange? 4, bitch. 4.
4 blowjobs.
There's 4 blowjobs you fucking sacrifice for this bullshit on your tongue right now. You know? That's what Beef Eater 24 gives me.
It's like it takes 24 hours off your life expectancy. What the fuck was that?
And like, your life quality, your quality of life. Like, I just lost 24 hours of quality of life, bro. And the quality of your
relationships as well. Like, you look at each other so bad, you're like, this girl is not beautiful anymore. Because she's making faces from the Beef Eater 24.
Why do you remind me of Beef Eater? That should be like an inside joke. Shit! You see a girl that's so annoying or ugly, you're like, why do you remind me of Beef Eater 24? The thing about
Beef Eater 24, it's so beautiful on the outside, but it's ugly on the inside. It's like that girl you love, but then you take her to the club and she's
like, sold to the devil for likes and comments on Instagram. Interestingly enough, Alchemist as a club has a lot of drama stories.
And prostitutes as well.
It does. Wait, what?
Yes.
How does it have? How do you know they're paid prostitutes? You have a story about this. It's that girl you were telling me about, right?
I cannot report that on this podcast because I know some people listening, and I do not want to get in trouble. There are stakeholders in my life.
Anyway, so we've had a lot of shit beer from Oaks and Cokes. That was the story.
Yeah, but then
we've also had some great beer like Shustov and now Harrington
from
whiskey
Scotland.
From Scotland. It's Scotch whiskey.
I feel like Scotland is probably one of those places where you feel like drinking that stuff will make you a man. You grow chest hair just by drinking Harrington.
When the weather is so shit, you need whiskey just to warm you up.
Drinking something with another man's name on it. Fucking Christ.
It's such a
My
meme.
toxic masculinity
It's such a meme though, right? And we were talking about this.
You're
how
drinking another man.
like liquor companies are the only companies that I know of, though you can name others, that name their products. Almost like 90% of the products are named after the guy who founded the company.
Imagine
so like we've got
band.
Johnny Walker, we've got Jack Daniels, we've got Harrington, we've got Captain Morgan,
William
we've got
Lawson's.
Jameson, William Lawson's. Like if you were to buy
Konyagi.
Blueband, who the fuck is Konyagi?
Mr. Kanyagi. Mr. Kanyagi, there's a package waiting for you outside the door.
Tell them to wait.
Kanyagi sounds like someone who sounds like that.
He's a gangster.
Lord
He's a
Kanyagi.
drug lord.
Lord Nyags.
It
Kanyagi.
sounds like he'd probably make a great cabinet prime cabinet minister,
Lord
you know?
Kanyagi.
Konyagi and Mudavadi are so far. Prime Minister Konyagi has today issued a directive.
Sounds like a Ugandan name. Speaking of
Museveni Konyagi. Konyagi Museveni.
Museveni is like the next version of a 69. He's like Museveni. Like what happens when the 69 goes out of control?
It becomes Museveni. Museveni.
So about the government though, like the LGBT thing, that was crazy. That
No.
white lady.
Before we get to that topic, I was just gonna point out that if you go to the shop and buy ketchup, while I do agree that Heinz is someone's name, most of it is like Peptang or Zesta. Imagine buying ketchup called Thomas. Or imagine going and buying soap that instead of being called Omo, it's called like Gloria or like Theodore, you know? Yeah. But then you go buy liquor and it's so freaking common to buy liquor with like the name of the person that founded the company. And that's a weird kind of meme that only works for liquor because like Jack Daniels is literally someone's freaking name and it's on whiskey. But I'm not going to buy a freaking TV called
Yeah, honestly, that sounds offensive. Like, why would you buy it?
Why the fuck are you naming this TV after yourself?
I don't want my girl saying this guy's name. Ati Akisha, what the
TV yenu ni gani?
Like,
Ni Willy Paul.
Willy Paul.
Willy Paul, you need to start a TV brand ASAP.
You need to monetize that brand of yours because you're such a meme. Like,
Willy Paul sofas. Imekalia Willy Paul.
Willy Paul. It's like Pose. Like, but then why is Willy Paul so sexually starved? Like, literally, he's a musician.
Oh my days! So, coming back to the topic, what were you talking about?
Why is Willy Paul? But before I finish, like, why is Willy Paul so sexually starved? He's a musician. He should be getting. Why is he in girls' DMs insisting? But we're thinking about it, like, maybe no girl listens to Willy Paul. Just guys in Meru.
No one in Nairobi.
At the barber shop talking about the I don't know, sugarcane prices.
Lakini Willy Paul is good. Akona ngoma mzuri. Haya anaingiana na njamba.
Vizuri sir. Anyways,
Jabba juice. Anyway, sorry. Like you would say, there's a topic you were bringing up before I came into that.
Like, what is this LGBT bill that was passed that was causing all this?
That's an interesting topic. Personally, I'm on the fence about LGBTQ in the sense that I don't think there's any sense in specifically persecuting members of this community because, like, while for some people they might choose to go gay, for a lot of people,
it's not a choice.
You know, being gay is something that you're born with. You just realize you're automatically attracted to members of the same sex. And that's okay. We shouldn't demonize that because, you know, the heart of this dehumanization, actually it's dehumanization. When you start to behave with disgust towards other human beings and you dehumanize them, that is what starts things like the genocide in Rwanda and you would know that because you're Rwandan or like the Holocaust, you know, against the Jews and shit like that and ethnic cleansing events. But like
the Rohingya.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, what I'm seeing on the ground is because like if you give LGBTQ communities the right to commune and form like NGOs and whatnot, you give them an official voice, and therefore you give them sort of like an ear to the government. Like you give them access to the government's ear, and so they can start advocating and lobbying for things like gay marriage and whatnot. And the real question here, and the real point of conflict between anti-gay and pro-gay groups is whether or not, as an African culture, as an African society, we want our culture to allow gayism.
we don't want to give them that leeway. So here's the thing. That's the African culture stance. But the thing is, I didn't hear this story when it came out. I heard it more in the memes. It was like people were making such a big deal out of it. I thought it was like gay marriage had been legalized in Kenya because they were talking about our culture, our beliefs. But really, there's not that much that's changed. And that's my argument. Like a lot of the LGBT agenda, and we're nothing against them, of course. Like everybody should be respected and treated equally and fairly. Right. We believe in that. But here's the thing. A lot of the things they advocate for are like this right there. I mean, who would have stopped you from making an organization before? Like obviously you had to keep it on wrap. You wouldn't put gay or lesbian. Right. But still, do you need to?
But it's illegal though. It was illegal before because like before all we had were like few and far removed. I'm starting to like this phrase. Social media influencers advocating for this shit on their Instagram stories. But like you couldn't go, for example, because even if you want to register an NGO, you have to go to like a registrar, the government. You can go and register an organization that outwardly advocated for something that's considered illegal in Kenya. You get the point? But now you have the right to do that. It's like me starting a weed company in Kenya. As long as weed is illegal, that's not possible. We were talking about this and you were telling me you have this show you're following in Netflix where they make food with cannabis.
There's a show called
like cannabis spread for bread, and you know, I don't know what the fuck.
Bunch of like very fancy chefs come together and compete to see who can cook with cannabis the best. And honestly, that kind of show, because here we're fans of edibles here.
Right, exactly.
Straight up, and
we may even be on edibles as we speak.
If you're an edible,
but this is not a confession.
It will never be a confession.
Purposes.
FBI.
Yeah.
What is this? DCI?
Yeah.
They said they all have letters that end with I.
Yeah, it's like, it's me, bruv. I
LGBTI.
am the one putting you in the ground. Anyway, as I was saying, exactly. But now, while we're segueing into this, an interesting thing is that there are a lot of theories online about how it's possible that because like Jill Biden, the wife to Joe Biden, came in Kenya on the Friday, and then on Saturday the Supreme Court rules in favor of homosexuality, and then Jill Biden leaves on Sunday, and then Kenya immediately on Monday received 16 billion shillings in donations from the US aid. So the conclusion was that the government sold the nation by making this ruling in order to get money.
It gives me the vibes of back in 2019 when the IMF announced that they were giving away, like they were going to give countries who had COVID outbreaks $1 billion. The next day after that announcement, Kenya had its first COVID case. So it's kind of like this, we're chasing paper all around. Like,
yeah, you get this weird scammy vibe. Like these guys just want to secure funding. Like and what the hell, guys?
That the current government, we're not going to mention any names, but of course you know what we're talking about. Like literally, they're all about like, this is a God-fearing nation. Apparently there was a commission established for like, I don't know,
the wife of the William Ruto's wife started like an intercession organization which is gonna like get 100 like prayer warriors or whatever, and they were gonna pray for the nation. I don't know if it's part of the national budget. Of course, on paper, it's gonna be an independent organization, but then of course the question will always be raised, like who's gonna fund this? Of course, if your husband is the president, best believe you're gonna get some taxpayer money easily.
I feel like the Senate and the presidency are acting differently right now. The president doing what they want. It's almost like, yeah, you have this much power, do this, but we'll also be allowed to do this.
But by the Senate, what do you mean? Like, I feel like I have a rather shallow understanding of how the government is structured in terms of the Senate, the Parliament.
I would imagine the Senate is there to kind of like approve. The president is like the one who makes most of the decisions, right? So he's the presiding.
It's an executive role.
But then he has I would say almost like a regulatory board, the Senate, which is supposed to keep him in check.
Could the Senate, in theory, impeach the president? Exactly. Who has the power to impeach the president?
It's the Senate. So I feel like the Senate now legalizing or having that whole LGBT ruling, and then Ruto and his wife having all these different like Christian-based things coming up, and now they're trying to portray this image. It's almost like everyone has their own corner.
Right.
Like, you do whatever you want, we'll do whatever you want. Like literally, it's a bit like it's in shambles, you know?
Yeah, it sounds like chaotic. It's all over the place,
I wonder how it's gonna go. But then you've been seeing all the memes lately, like the William Ruto memes, like Walker Texas Ranger, Walker Tax Us Ranger. That's William Ruto.
I'm on the fence about that, and the reason is that since about the Kibaki era, a lot of Kenya's development
Shout out to Kibaki. Kuja.
Mafia Kuku.
That was in our first episode. If you haven't seen that yet, go and check it out.
Mafia Kuku. Remember I said that if you were in jail and Kibaki was a guy trying to rape you,
you might
give
say
it up?
Yes.
Like Mafia Kuku Kuja hapa sawa. mbona unaangusha sabuni, kuja hapa. And then while he's like putting it, he's like, mafia
kuku is like BDSM. Like, no daddy, mafia kuku. In
another life, Kibaki is gonna be a BDSM celebrity.
That is probably a porn star in heaven right now. Rated number 76.
Why is it that I swear the objectification of humans when it comes to like sexual slavery and slave trade, it's so amazing how humans can treat other humans like chattel. Imagine if you went to like the Serengeti and lions were freaking selling other lions. Like you literally see this in no other freaking species. Even the dolphins that are so close to us in terms of intelligence and evolution, you don't see dolphins freaking like auctioning each other. I mean, they can do some serious shit like rape each other and like kill each other, but
dolphins do that?
they're not gonna sell each other as fucking chattel, you know?
That's fucking crazy, man.
Exactly. So but anyway, while we're on this topic, so like something interesting is what we had was that we had like Rigathi Gachagua.
Ricky.
Exactly. So Rigathi Gachagua made a comment on this, and I felt like it was like meant to confuse the masses. It's like, that is only the beginning. The West will come for more. So this is a tweet from the Russian embassy in Kenya, right?
What?
And it's like, Dr. Rigathi Gachagua supports actually same-sex relations, or rather he showed some kind of endorsement basically in relation to this. And then the Russian...
Maybe that's the big debt plan. Like they know, because they keep promising grant things. Like gas is going to cost 300 by...
So the Russian embassy in Kenya comments on this. And you know, this is like a whole diplomatic thing because like Russia is anti-West, right?
For sure.
And so anti-gay same-sex relationships. So the Russian embassy tweets, that is only the beginning. The West will come for more. Traditional values shall be protected, otherwise humanity is doomed. Not parent 1 and parent 2, but family, not rules, but law. And then we had like another thing coming from like the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, right? And she says the Kenyan government knows the US perspective, but we also respect their views on LGBTQ rights. There is absolutely no linkage between food and drought relief and Kenyans, which sounds like PR
but
or disaster management.
Uganda about their stance on LGBT? Because I've been seeing like...
I've seen the case where like, I don't know if this video is entirely, like it sounds apocryphal, doubtful. Like I don't know if it's like entirely exactly, but the idea behind it is that the US aid organization is threatening to cut off aid to Uganda if Uganda doesn't legalize something about like gay marriage or something, you know? And Museveni is adamant on not legalizing this. Yeah. Right? Another topic that I found pretty interesting was George Wajakoya, right? So this guy said that the Tanzanian government has issued a red alert barring him from setting foot in Tanzania. So he was like in Tanzania 2 days ago as a guest of the Chadema party, and he was mistreated by Tanzanian authorities. The funniest part is that he's given the Kenyan government, right? Because he said the Kenyan government is suspiciously quiet. 7 days. He said he's given them 7 days to respond on the matter and press Tanzania to come and clean on the travel ban. And the question is, what the hell is he going to do if they don't respond in 7 days?
It's like a girl breaking up with you and then you go to her inbox like, I'll give you 7 days. Like
to get back together with me.
You're not the one with the power. Like,
and the girl is like, so what happens if I don't get back with you in 7 days? I'll give you 7 more days.
I'll give you 7 more days, you bitch. What do you think?
We'll play this game until you get tired and get back with me. Because you're tired of being given days. It would be so funny if the guy...
What does that expression mean? Whether we dekni or we kitni?
Are there laws in our audience? Could you please tell us in the comments whether we dekni or we kitni? Whether we kitni or we dekni?
We must.
Tell us what that means.
We must be said.
But like the idea is,
he was banned from traveling to Tanzania.
Exactly.
Why though? Is it why? Because he endorses weed or what? I mean, like, who is he anyway? To be honest, like, who is Wajakoya at this point? Like, in terms of politically speaking, like, where is he?
I think he's trying to leverage the fact that he was such a meme during the Kenyan elections to sort of like elevate his status.
Well, we can give him a shout out.
Or elevate his perceived status. And we've made a lot of Wajakoya videos. That's the thing. I actually feel like a lot of our popularity so far, because we have like all of 280 followers on Instagram as of this recording.
Probably like 290 at this point.
Yeah, a lot of our fame is literally riding on the back of Wajakoya and his running mate Wamai.
By the way, just a quick one. If you're watching this while we have 280 subscribers, we think this podcast is going to go far. We think we're going to get to 100,000. But you leave a comment.
We actually, what we're trying to do, guys, is we're trying, because we feel like there's a lot of great Kenyan content out there, but a lot of it feels rather shallow. You want guys that can be goofy while going deep every now and then. And we think there are a lot of smart people in Kenya. So we're trying to capture that audience because we generally love to geek out. But we also think that we generally love to joke around and goof around, and we think that's a great thing. So we're trying to fill that gap in Kenyan entertainment.
So the people who are watching this right now, when we're still small, leave a like, leave a comment with your name, and then we might do a special with you one day. While we're at maybe like 100K, inshallah. You know?
Yeah. Did you hear about the new president of Nigeria?
That old 70-year-old guy?
What's his name? Bola Tinubu.
Oh my goodness.
He looks absolutely freaking fragile. He's like gonna die in the next minute if you don't fucking get him his oxygen mask.
What is this fetish with Africans and political power? Like, I want to be president. I'm 70 years old. You're not gonna do shit. You're gonna die next day.
I think it's a carryover from African traditional society because even before the colonialists came, the Council of Elders, which was like a meme among African societies, all these pieces of elder people that had gone through like initiation or circumcision. There'd been warriors that got like a bunch of wives. Like a lot of status came also with how many wives you have, how many cattle. Exactly. So we have this weird reverence for elders in Africa and African communities that perhaps is not easily, you can't see it in other communities out there. I think you only see it in Asian communities to a similar degree because like Asian communities really revere their elders almost as much as Africans.
But I mean, as revered as you are, honestly, you should not be president if you're that old. Like, what are you gonna bring to the world that's new? You probably have like theories. I feel like at this point, like when you turn to maybe like 30, 35, anyway, somewhere between there, your theories in life are set. Like you're not gonna bring any new ideas. You're just gonna be like, oh, my days were better. Because you're always kind of like, you're holding on to an old model that's going to work. And that's my issue. That's why I believe in an age limit for presidents.
But that's the eternal struggle, isn't it? The eternal struggle between conservatism and liberalism has always been a struggle between the old and the young. The old are about conservatism and conserving traditional values and going for like things like so church, like when it comes to business, you know, you want to tax more and ask for less aid. You want to be less tolerant about like you know, LGBTQ community and what that's conservatism is. And then the liberals are about like individualism and allowing people like accepting different points of view on different things. And also like when it comes to government, also conservatives are like less tolerant of foreigners and liberals are more tolerant of foreigners. So immigration is a huge fighting ground for these 2 points of view. So it always feels like it's a clash between the old and the young, right? But then this raises a bigger question about democracy in general. So like if you've read Greek philosophy, and this is where we get deep, guys. So you know, like if you read Greek philosophy,
grab your pens, write this down.
Yeah.
Reflect on it.
You may have heard, right, like about like Plato, the Greek philosopher. And we have another Greek philosopher who's paradoxically more famous than Plato, and his name is Socrates. And yet the only way we know anything about Socrates is because Plato writes about Socrates. He has like dialogues he writes about Socrates. Exactly. So that's the only way we know about Socrates. And yet Plato is the physical person that makes Socrates famous. So it's a bit ironical that in the future, Socrates, who is possibly, arguably a mental creation of Plato, not necessarily a real person, becomes more famous than Plato, right? Yeah. But like Plato writes in the dialogues in his dialogues when he talks about Socrates, like he's portrayed as a hugely pessimistic person about the whole business of democracy, right? So in The Republic, which is a book by Plato in book 6, Plato describes Socrates falling into conversation with a character called Adeimantus and trying to get him to see the flaws of democracy by comparing a society to a ship. So if you were heading out on a journey by sea, asks Socrates, who would you ideally want deciding who was in charge of the vessel? And just anyone or people educated in the rules and demands of seafaring. And of course, Adeimantus says the latter, of course, right? Of course. So why then, responds Socrates, do we keep thinking of any old person that they should be fit to judge who should be the ruler of a country.
So basically us voters.
Exactly. And so Socrates' point is that voting in an election is a skill, not a random intuition. And like any skill, it needs to be taught systematically to people. Letting the citizenry vote without an education is as irresponsible as putting them in charge of a trireme sailing to, say, Samos, or in a storm, or like closer to home, somewhere like Somalia, because like the Kenyan coast it's a beautiful coast because like a straight coastline, but like we have a lot of storms at sea and shit, especially like if you were trying to sell in Somalia and Zanzibar. So Socrates was to have first-hand catastrophic experience of the foolishness of voters. So in 399 BC, the philosopher was put on trial on trumped-up charges of corrupting the youth of Athens.
Wow.
And a jury of 500 Athenians was invited to weigh up the case.
Imagine if that was right now, like every TikTok...
this is the equivalent of mob justice, actually.
Every TikTok influencer would be subject to that like ruling.
Exactly. It's the court of public opinion. That's the meme. The court of public opinion. But the idea is that the jury was invited to weigh up the case and decided by a narrow margin that the philosopher was guilty. So he was put to death by having to take the poison hemlock.
So Socrates was put to death?
Yeah, you never knew that? Socrates was sentenced to death and he had to take hemlock. It's a poison. So you drink it and then you freaking die.
Can you imagine thinking so much that people want to kill you for it? That's a job, but you're about to die, nigga. Like,
that's a really deep point to bring up, because I've never thought about it from that perspective.
Like, why did they bring him in court? His ideas were so powerful that they were actually, quote unquote, misleading the youth.
I think that speaks to like a natural human instinct that's so deeply ingrained that it's like probably in our animal brain, like in our cerebellum. And the idea is that we want to stick to what is familiar.
Exactly.
So if it's culture, if it's what we were brought up with, we want to stick to that. And if you try to disrupt that in any form, we're going to fight you tooth and nail. I mean, eventually like new ideas and new trends catch on, but it's always an uphill battle. We know about the battle for like legalizing gay marriage in the US. It was a huge battle. And the US is one of the most liberal countries in the world. So imagine how much tougher the battle is going to be in Kenya. And again, like I said, I'm on the fence about gay marriage. I'm neither supporting nor I'm not supporting it. But like, it's really good to give commentary on like exactly what the situation is in the Kenyan arena.
I have a friend, I will find out if she would want her audio to be included in this thing, but I thought her perspective was really interesting about the whole LGBTQ agenda in Africa.
Right.
And she suggested that they're supporting they're pushing the agenda so that there's less there's more chances for non-reproductive sex,
so it's like a population control strategy.
Method. And I'll find out from her if she would like this audio to be included. If she does, we'll probably add the audio to the edit.
Yeah, we should start getting guests on the podcast, like international people and whatnot. I think that would be a great niche to also, like a great gap to fill up. Have you heard the news about the church in the people say it's in Kenya, but it's possibly apocryphal, so it could be in like the rest of Africa.
Jesus?
Not twerking for Jesus, but like they were stripping down. So like they're in bras and panties. The
must
choir.
Be Nigeria, right? Must be
I
Nigeria.
don't know, but they speak Swahili.
Country,
the reason why people theorize that it might be a Kenyan company is because they actually speak Swahili in it. Right?
Wow.
So there's a whole video trending on this shit.
But Swahili is actually one of the most spoken languages in the world. For those of you who did not know, here's a bit of a language.
The Congolese speak Swahili. Even as far down as South Africa, there's some Swahili.
Swahili is like a lingua franca in Africa. And I love that because like, apart from Spanish and English, obviously in French, Swahili is up there, like in terms of like spoken languages. And I wish more people would embrace it. Because
Swahili is the English to Africa.
Is exactly.
I am willing to die on this hill if someone can show me a more spoken African language than Swahili in Africa. I'm willing to pay some amount of money. I'm not going to reveal how much, but like this is a hill I'm willing to die on.
But you get something at the end, like even if it's 20 bob, you're richer than
Swahili is freaking popular.
Swahili is fucking popular, and then okay, maybe apart from that, there's Arabic and stuff like that. But yeah,
of course, Arabic because of North Africa and Berber, the BER language. You know about that, right? But like generally speaking, so like this is an interesting conversation, in the sense that it raises a different kind of warmth. And the question is, what do you think about like how African churches like employ like rather weird techniques to gain followers? We've seen videos and they're always trending of like pastors like doing fighting like blockbuster style fighting. Exactly. We've seen like women twerking for Jesus. We did this on Jesus of Tongeren. We've seen like strippers in the freaking choir. Like, why are African pastors so dramatic? They're really trying to get those views and likes.
But then there is this belief in Africa, this superstition that people really want something beyond the spiritual, because our African traditional religions that were there before Christianity, we had a lot of this belief in the supernatural. So you found that a lot of people, unless you had those supernatural displays, whether it's like miracles, healing people, or like they wouldn't believe in your church or wouldn't believe in your power unless you display that, because that's a carryover.
Showmanship has always been a central aspect of evangelism in Africa, whether you were doing it for traditional gods or church. In fact, the most subtle religion I've seen, and this is not necessarily to praise them so much, but Islam has been so subtle because it's just Jamia Mosque in Nairobi. You're not going to see a lot of showmanship when it comes to Islam. But when it comes to Christianity, especially its myriad denominations, showmanship when it comes to Pentecostal churches, and this is another because people joke about like how chill Catholic churches are. You've seen the memes where someone is like, let's show the sign for peace, and you show like a peace sign with like two fingers up, and like everyone is like shaking their neighbor and saying we rejoice in the Lord or whatever the hell.
I feel like it's the laziest form of.
But like as soon as we got like Pentecostal churches in Africa and in Kenya and a lot of other countries, we got a lot of showmanship being woven into the evangelism.
It's kind of like the Aztecs back in the day. You remember the Aztecs when they would do like the human sacrifice? It was so dramatic on a big pillar and stuff like that. So you would imagine Africa to have something similar to that because of the quote unquote primitiveness of So a lot of this is you kind of realize the compromise that the colonizers had to make for Africans to adopt Christianity. So they had like even clapping in church. That was looked down upon, like when it came back to Africa.
There was a lot of appropriation in order to fit into the culture.
Like all these songs where you clap and hymns and stuff like that, those are Negro.
We see appropriation everywhere in culture. So for example, we know when the Portuguese and the Arabs were arriving on the East Africa coast, there's a lot of intermarriage. And of course, these were colonizers in a sense before the British came, right? There was a lot of slave trade happening from the East coast of Africa going to Saudi Arabia. But like one of the ways they would do this, or rather one of the effects that we have like passed down, is that you find a lot of Portuguese words and Arab words in Swahili, because the Swahili as a tribe are supposed to be mixed African people, whereas like Arabs and Africans mixed together.
Even the numbers, here's an interesting little bit, like number in Arabic or in Swahili, 0 is sufuri.
Sufuri.
In Arabic, sufur.
We have meza, which is a Portuguese word for plateau or table. But in Kenya, it also means table. We have sukar, which is Arabic for sugar. And then we have sucre, which is Portuguese for sugar. And then we have sukari in Swahili, which is Portuguese for sugar. We have, for example, like salama. Because that's means peace in Arabic. Na kusalimia, na kuahidia amani.
It's so amazing to think that Africa is such a beautiful continent, because like there's so many diverse mixtures of people that you don't even know it.
But here's the mind-blowing thing. Do you know the Arabic phrase, which is appropriate to Islamic religion, is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I wish you peace be upon you in the name of the Lord, the Lord of mercy, the Lord of blessings. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Nakusalimia. I wish you peace. Which comes from also salim, which is peace, the peaceful one. You get? So there's a lot of Arabic and Portuguese. Pesa, the term for money, comes from pesos. Have you heard of the Mexican peso? And like even in Portuguese and Spanish, it means money.
I wish we had like them more available, like the DNA test, where people could find out like where they're from.
You might find that you're part Portuguese or
like,
part Arabic.
Africa is such a diverse continent. And
but you come from Rwanda, so I feel like you might be more part French than anything else. Because like the Rwandese was such like they were French annex.
Colonized by Belgians, I think.
Belgians, sorry, yeah, they were Belgian annex.
But even if you look at some of our features, some of us, like myself, have a bit of a long nose, like a European nose, and that kind of thing.
Rwandese actually, the Rwandese are very interestingly futuristically, like physical features in the sense that you have interestingly European features, the mix of African bodies. So like on the face, you have like a European feature, and I see this even with Ethiopians and Eritreans. It's just that the Ethiopians and Eritreans are more light skinned. With Rwandans, you're dark skinned, but you have European features somehow with like your African face, an African figure where you have like hips and ass. Like everybody fawns over Rwandese girls.
I feel like there's no such thing as a pure African at this point. Like literally, we're all mixtures of different things.
Right.
There weren't even countries to begin with. There were territories. Like that's why there's a lot of tribal issues in Kenya because of like the fact that before colonization,
someone came and drew a line on a map, and it was like Kenya ends here. And we've had this conversation before. I was telling you about how the Maasai as a tribe was so powerful and control large tracts of land, ranging from like I don't know Ngong in the north or something, all the way down to what is now the Serengeti National Park in the south in Tanzania. But someone comes and draws a line. It's like this is Kenya, this is Tanzania, and so the Tanzanian Maasais get like separated from the Kenyan Maasai, but they're all Maasai. It's one big tribe controlling large tracts of land.
Bundled together with another tribe. They were probably warring with that tribe. And that's where a lot of the tribal issues come from in this country.
Exactly.
It's generational. Like it's been passed down before colonization and everything. Like,
even possibly the traditional hate between Kikuyus and Luos might have been passed down from pre-colonial times.
Even within the Luyas, there's so many tribes, Bukusu, Maragoli, whatever.
Yeah.
That's where they have like this conflict between them. Like if you go to the villages, that stuff is ongoing. Like it's like what? Stuff that's happening in Syria, but
it's like a Mungiki thing going on there, but like you have several Mungiki in different tribes.
It's so localized that nobody hears about it. Like it's not news anymore.
Right.
But then it's crazy what's going on over there. But then just because of that generational like thing that's been passed down from like we used to be warring tribes. These white people came and put us together, and now we weren't supposed to be together. It's like, yeah.
Anyway,
so we're a mix of different things. Basically, that's what we're trying to say.
Another thing that was really catching on was there was a time when it was trending on Twitter where like a job candidate went to the interview and someone posted that
Captain
they wore
on a
no
pulse.
Gotham.
Gotham City.
People were so creative about this. Like someone was going on Twitter, like, let's have a futuristic vampire movie where this guy freaking he survives on your panties and period blood, or I don't know what the fuck, like something about that. It's like, should you wear panties to your interview is really the pertinent question that was on Twitter when this was trending.
How does someone even see your panties though? Like, unless you're supposed to like spread eagle.
It's like, gonna be. Have you watched Basic Instinct, the movie? Do you know Sharon Stone, the actress?
Like to.
Have you watched Kill Bill?
Sounds like a porn star, Sharon Stone.
Yeah, it does, and she does act like a porn star too. She's got her haters for this, but like,
put that on my Google.
Do you know about Kill Bill, the movie?
Kill Bill, I know the one with the yellow suit.
Sharon Stone is in. That's Uma Thurman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
that is a grave error. Sharon Stone is in. Sharon Stone Kill Bill is Uma Thurman, guys. I'm sorry about that. Sharon Stone is in Basic Instinct, where it's basically. Pun intended. It's basically we have like this woman and this guy is investigating a murder because like the first scene of Basic Instinct is she's riding some guy in the cowgirl position and then she gets an ice pick. You know when you want to break up ice, you have an ice pick. It looks like a screwdriver, but it's for breaking up ice into smaller pieces. She gets an ice pick and just as about to come, she starts like stabbing him in the eye, in the chest, and everything. Like that's the key scene of Basic Instinct.
Does he ever come?
The funniest part of Basic Instinct is when the investigators, the detectives come by the next morning and they see semen samples. You know, they have this dark light, ultraviolet thing.
The blue, black light. It's called a black light.
Black light, and they can see like sperm samples. Yeah. And then one of the detectives says, he came before he went. That is like the key scene in Basic Instinct. It's a 90s movie or something. Like it's so freaking dark. But the idea is that this investigator starts like, he suspects that she's like a novelist, and he starts to notice that a lot of the storylines in her novels resemble the murders happening in real life. So he's like, she's writing a novel and she's killing people for content, right?
That's so fucking creepy, man. But
she was a freaking content creator before content creation was a thing. But the idea is, what happens is she fucks with him, like she manipulates him. They end up having sex and blah blah until she makes him go crazy. I don't know if he ends up in jail or something, but like that's what's happening on Basic Instinct.
Fucking Christ, man.
So now I feel like there's a scene in Basic Instincts, right? There's a scene in Basic Instinct where the guy is interviewing her as part of a panel, and she's sitting, right? So she's sitting, the interviews are there, and she's here. And then they ask her a question, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what she says, but she crosses her legs over. So she opens them, and they can see like a sneak peek of the pussy. And then she crosses the... to close them, because it's a like you get to see that snippet kind of moment. You get, so I feel like in interviews,
it's a tactic though.
It's a Basic Instinct to vibe in interviews when you have no panties, and one of the a lot of the interviewers are men, and then they're like, oh shit, she has no panties.
And you literally don't have to
her.
do anything after that. Like literally, right? Catfish. Literally, you show the coochie. You never have to show it again. Literally, you never said anything with your mouth.
Right.
You like, hey, if you
exactly.
hire me, I'm gonna fuck you all every day. Like you just showed the goodness of God, and then you.
But it became such a thing because then it became a whole topic. It's like, where do we fucking draw the line? You know, there was a conversation.
There
was a conversation in the past. There was a conversation in the past about whether your prospective employers should be going through your social media. Should they be looking at your Twitter to see what you said 5 years ago, your OnlyFans, exactly. So now we seem to be intruding into the realm of privacy where like, should I be checking if you have panties or not? Yeah. And this was the basis of the trend on Twitter. It's like, should we be wearing panties to interviews? Is it a rule? Could it literally get me disqualified for a job?
I'm trying to be a software engineer. Like, it doesn't matter if you're getting hard. I'll still do software.
Exactly. I might do harder software.
Yeah. Hardware is your problem. I'll do the software.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
software
still,
and having
like,
a hard on though is like it's those are opposite concepts.
Yeah.
A software engineer who has a hard on, and you're like those are two opposing concepts.
There's actually a trend in like porn where
software engineers look like they have erectile dysfunction.
Shit!
A soft dick is literally software.
All the software engineers in the chat respond, tell us how stupid we are.
So a software engineer is really a woman who specializes in beating off soft dicks. There should be on a t-shirt. I'm a software engineer. You have a soft dick? You have erectile dysfunction? I'll still beat you off and make you come.
Yeah, I'll make you come powder, whatever the fuck it needs to come out. Like, literally.
Milk powder.
If it's air.
I don't know how milk powder is a product.
Oh shit.
How the fuck do you take something that's fundamentally liquid? Have you ever seen water powder or soda powder? Soda powder though, Juice Cola could qualify for soda powder or Kool-Aid.
It's glucose.
Water, exactly. But fucking milk powder? How did you powderize a liquid, bro?
In Kenya, we have this thing called chang'aa, which is basically like your mama, basically. People used to say like, your mom's so old, she doesn't even have breast milk, she has breast powder. And the baby's choking on the fucking breast powder. Like,
exactly.
That's the decision you're talking about.
So what do you think? Do you think women should wear their panties to the interview? Or do you think it should be what they call a non-issue?
All right, here's a bit of, this is my perspective. Right? So I am planning to be like an entrepreneur, right? I'm going to have my own business.
We're both planning to be entrepreneurs.
I would love for women to
hopefully with ThinkShack, we can get started a whole entertainment company.
If you guys keep subscribing, we might just get there. But here's the thing. I would want the women to show up without panties. Show me all your talents. Like, right. I don't mind, because I'm a bit of a pervert, to be quite honest with you. But then, generally, I don't think it should matter. Like, honestly, that doesn't have any impact on the job. Maybe they wanted to improve their job prospects, which is like, I mean, you're a forward thinker. Maybe I might want some coochie. You know, like, why not show it to me? Or
here's the thing. Like, let's get into the gender argument for a minute, because like I like to fuck.
Like, you're not gonna show your dick on an interview, regardless of how hot you are.
Or grey sweatpants. Yeah. Or on top of that, let's talk about how, like, for example, both men and women get hard nipples. Even though nipples are vestigial, they're a vestigial like thing in a man, because we all start out as women. You know this scientifically, right? Like in the womb,
there's this thing called the frenulum, which is that line underneath your balls.
Exactly.
That's actually vagina.
Actually, there's a line that runs down the length of your scrotum that's supposed to like divide the testes.
It's called the frenulum.
That line describes. No, the frenulum is the line that runs from the top of the glans, the tip of the penis, right down to the shaft, right? But then there's another line that runs down your balls, and this is literally where your vagina was supposed to be. Your testicles in another life would have become ovaries.
So all of you male listeners, you used to be a pussy nigga.
You used to be a pussy, exactly. You used to be a pussy, and if you look at it, even a clitoris is technically a little dick.
Penis,
Women have tiny dicks, and they're called clitorises.
Some of them have big dicks.
Big clitoris.
Big Clinton.
Big clitoris. Big Clinton.
Big Clinton. Yeah. Oh god, damn.
Oh my god. This should be on a t-shirt. This should be on a t-shirt. Should be on a t-shirt. You ever imagine if you see someone with a t-shirt, it says this should be on a t-shirt.
This should be on a t-shirt. Oh shit. Yo, we're gonna make these in the future. So
we're gonna do merchandise, you know, because like we're not kosher enough to get a lot of endorses or anything. Unless they're beer companies, go like we review like liquor companies, so because we review liquor, but otherwise most of the people wouldn't fuck with our content.
We're on Harrington, by the way, in case you missed it in the beginning.
Right. But we love you guys because you fuck with our content.
You're special.
We have 42 subscribers as of this recording. I can't wait to reach 100 subscribers.
On YouTube, we have 42 subscribers.
On Instagram, we have about 300 followers, 280 followers.
Let's get it to 1,000 guys. Then we'll do
like we get 10 followers every 2 hours.
1,000 followers special will be amazing.
Yeah, we need to bring a foreigner on. We need to bring either David or Rich to talk about entrepreneurship, or your friend to talk about like NGOs and the whole struggle.
India, but she's black.
India Summer, you know, India Summer is a porn star. Yeah. And she's white.
They always have these crazy names where you're like, fuck, that's a name I want.
Yeah, exactly.
But you give your daughter that name and she turns out
Kendra Woods.
Kendra Woods, fucking.
You know,
what's his name?
Kira Noir. Noir is like a whole term, like, you know, like noir comedy. It's like supposed to be new, or like noir money.
Noir means black. Come in.
Yeah, exactly.
Come in.
We have a
visitor.
Guest.
Knock, come in. Yo, you finna come in or what?
Should we stop recording and then start recording again?
Let's pause the recording.
Yeah, we can. So guys, we're here. We just got pizza. That was who was knocking. So like, yeah. Anyway, on the conversation, I'm gonna have to get my phone to just check real quickly the topic we were talking about. But on the conversation, we were mostly. I don't know why Mosley came in. Like Moss.
Who is Mosley?
Mosley
is like Bruce Lee's brother. Mosley. Can fight kung fu. Cook rice.
He fights trees. Because that's what like moss and lichen. You know, like you remember reading in school about that shit?
Oh yeah.
Lichen grows in trees and it's supposed to be a symbiotic relationship. I think that was my first interaction with a symbiotic relationship concept.
Yo, you never have to draw an insect.
It's like a fungus and a plant.
Some of the shit we learned was so useless in school. Like, why would you draw
the parts of a locust?
The parts of a locust?
Why do I care about the parts of a locust?
Is it gonna get you a job? Like,
show me the parts of a freaking tax return document.
Show me the parts of a boss.
Sure.
The parts of a boss that you charge to get a job.
The parts of a boss that that sounds like it's just promoting workplace prostitution.
I believe in workplace prostitution.
We all believe in workplace prostitution. Do whatever you need to do to get where you need to get. Make
sure you come. Make sure you come first.
Before you go.
Oh, yeah.
He came before he went.
You overcame the difficulty.
So anyway, panties during interviews.
Yeah. Also, I'm a big fan of thongs.
We'd love to get your opinion, guys, on whether panties before interviews are kosher. But I think we can leave it there, Jean. That's enough.
Thank you guys.
If we have any extra topics, we'll touch on them next week.
Thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a pleasure as always. Like
we're gonna get a bunch of shorts, post them in YouTube, post them in Instagram. But we really appreciate the love we're getting so far. When we were starting to do this stuff, we just realized that we love to have conversations, semi-deep. I like to categorize our conversations semi-deep because they're not too deep and they're not too semi.
And then also let us know what you guys would like us to talk about, what you guys would like us to break down, to see what interesting angles we can find. Because that's the whole point of this. Thinking about reflecting ideas, but then not necessarily adopting them. That's what we are.
So until next time, this has been this ThinkShack. I'm your guy Ramsey.
I'm Jean. Stay blessed and see you next week.
See you next week, guys. Ciao.